All right, here with Olmsted Falls head coach Tom DeLuca. And coach, coming into tonight, obviously this was a battle going up against 2-0 Strongsville, and it was kind of really a back and forth affair until your defense really stepped up, I feel like, in overtime, and then the game winner by Aiden O'Malley with a 24-21 win. But just kind of talk about how your kids really battled throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, there was ups and downs of the game. Obviously, when we put ourselves in position right at the end of regulation, we missed that field goal. Aiden did a great job of coming back and putting that, final nail in the coffin there, if you will. I mean, with the last field goal, and just everyone battled. Everyone was just in tune to the whole game. We talked a lot before we got here. Hey, do your job. Do your job. Nothing more, nothing less. Just do your job. And we wanted to clean up the mistakes that we had made last week as far as penalties and no turnovers. We were pretty clean all night with that department. So really proud of our guys for focusing on the small things to get better.
Cam and Owen really had a great night. Really controlled the game for your offense. How about that? How those two really controlled the game on offense?
Yeah, I mean, Cam Pesh he's grown up a great deal in three games here, and for his first year as a starter, that's pretty special.
Yeah, I think the defense really did a great job. Ron Pace, your defensive coordinator, I think he really did a great job of really settling the guys down going into overtime. Talk about how the defense really battled through without so many circumstances going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I thought we had a good game plan all week long. The kids were motivated. Coach Pace gave him a little extra motivation. We knew he was coming back to his hometown, and it was a special one for him. I also want to credit Strongsville's kids and their players. They did a great job. They were coming out battling. It was pretty good.
Just kind of talk about the moment how Aiden O'Malley hit that game winner to set up with the win.
Yeah, it was like I said before, he came out right before the end of regulation, and he missed it just right, and then got us to overtime, and then he hit the kick right down the middle, and it was I was excited for him to have another chance at it. What a great experience for him.
Going into 2-1, starting into the SWC starter next week, how much of a motivation does this game and the non-conference really set you up for good momentum going into the SWC next week?
Yeah, I think it's great. Coming out of here, with the W tonight, and it was such a hard-fought game. Both teams played their hearts out, and like I said, I don't know if I said this before, but it's you never want to see any team lose a game like this. It's just such a good game, but it give us a lot of momentum going into the conference.
All right, here at Olmsted Falls running back Owen Singleton, and Owen, coming into tonight, this is a matchup going up against 2-0 Strongsville, and it was kind of really a back and forth affair until Strongsville really had a good momentum. But I feel like you guys had a lot of confidence going into overtime, and that your defense with a block decline, and that it set up Aiden with the game winner. This time, talk about how you guys really battled throughout the whole game to get this victory.
Fight all game long. They got they got really good guys up front, and it's going to be a battle of the line of scrimmage. So grateful that we were able to come out on top.
Yeah, talk about how you and Cam really controlled the game on offense.
Me and Cam are starting to get the hang of things. He's coming in as first year starter, and I think him being a dual threat, I think that really helps it in our win.
I think the defense was the biggest story tonight. I mean, Coach Pace got those guys going, ready to go. Talk about how the defense really controlled the game so far.
Defense really stepped up tonight, especially when it mattered. We got a bunch of guys playing D-line that were rotating in, trying to fight for a spot still, and we had inside backers that they're doing their job, and they're doing great.
How awesome was it for Aiden to get that game winner?
That was amazing, especially get that get back after missing the first one. I think that's going to make his whole month.
Y'all ended the non-conference at 2-1, really set you up with good momentum going to the SWC. How big of a win does this set up going into the SWC starting next week for you guys?
It's a huge win. It sets up our momentum, and we're going to come back and start in the conference play. We're going to work our asses off.